Hey guys, what's up? So aside from video games, I also have a bit of a figure collection as well. And this one here is Futaba Sakura from Persona 5. And I thought it would be interesting to get a bootleg of her as well and just kind of do a bit of a comparison between the two. So naturally, let's go ahead and start with the box. This bootleg box was obviously made to look like the original, but on the front it's missing some of the branding. The FAT logo has been removed and the Atlas Sega copyrights are as well. Overall, the appearance is just a little more blurry than the original box, but it's not too noticeable. This is actually a pretty decent looking bootleg box. On the backside, you can see the bootleg is missing the customer support URL. I mean, can you imagine if people were contacting official support for a bootleg that was falling apart? I can also see they stretched out the other logos and warnings to fill in the empty space here where the customer support was removed. So that was a pretty decent box, but how does the bootleg figure stand up compared to the original? Well, quite literally, it stands up very crooked. This tilted stance is actually pretty common in bootleg figures. It looks quite awkward and is always one of the first things I notice in most bootlegs. They never quite stand up straight. You can see the supports for the feet are also very cheap. The bootleg just has some exposed pegs sticking up, and the original has a nice platform which also has pegs to keep it in place and just looks a lot nicer. You'll also notice some difference in the quality of paint and detail in the boots, and pretty much everywhere else on the figure you're going to notice these same differences: quality of paint and detail. The AFK on the back of the coat is painted much lower on the bootleg because, well, it would have been far too much more effort to paint higher up behind the hood where it's supposed to be. With this figure, you can also remove the coat and pose her with Morgana. Zooming in a bit, you can really see the difference with the glasses. The bootleg glasses are cheap, crappy, and not at all like they're supposed to look. Most of her skin looks like melted wax, whereas on the original, it's more pale and non-glossy. You can really see a lot more detail on the face and mouth too. Morgana also has similar differences. His pointy ears are more rounded on the bootleg, and the paint is a bit sloppy. Her hair is only one flat color on the bootleg, and there's this horrible gap going through the middle of her head. The original has a two-tone paint, with the tips and shadows painted a darker color and much finer and smoother details. Again, the paint is sloppy on the bootleg headphones, whereas the original looks quite sharp. We could honestly go on and on with the differences, but I think you can probably spot most of them on your own. Side by side, the bootleg looks pretty bad. On its own, if you don't have anything else to compare it to, it looks alright from a distance, except for that lean. With authentic figures being so pricey, usually over $100, it can be tempting to buy a bootleg, but the quality will suffer and you won't be supporting the original sculptor. Keep in mind, most of these bootlegs will show pictures of the authentic product on their online shops, so you have to be careful where you're buying from. usually try to stick to trusted sources. There are some really good trusted sources for buying pre-owned authentic figures as well if you're looking to save a bit of cash. Places like Solaris Japan and Ami Ami both offer new and pre-owned authentic figures. Alright guys, I hope this diversion was interesting for you. Until next time, I will see you later.